Okay, sweet. So I'm going to get us started right away. There are a couple of pre-submitted questions, and actually I think 6138 is Stephen Rhonda. Stephen Rhonda, can you hear me?
It's Melanie, actually.
Dang it!
But you're right. That's my question.
Okay. Okay. Hi, Melanie.
Hi.
One of these times, just once, I'm going to get it right. Just once.
Well, I'm so hit and miss. I don't blame you. Like, you don't hear from me very often, so.
Cool. Okay. Well, I'm going to jump right to your question because you have a pre-submitted question. I just got to pull it back up. So you mentioned traveling for 2 weeks, gained a little bit of weight. That's completely normal. Just getting back on track today. Perfect. I feel like I should add 2 weeks to my cut base because I lost 2 weeks, question mark, or should I just do an automatic cut to make up for lost time? So first of all, I want to go into your spreadsheet here and look at it. So I'm looking at your spreadsheet. So you have, I mean, if we go back, basically, if I'm looking at your data averages tab, basically what I see is just a plateau for the past 3 weeks of data.
Yeah. I was plateauing before I left.
Yeah. So actually this can be a good thing because if you were in a true plateau, and I'm gonna check out your daily data real quick, but if you're in a plateau and you go through a period of increased calories and then come back out of it, you can actually snap your body out of a plateau and speed back up progress. So could be a good thing.
Okay.
It just depends. It just depends on how controlled you were with your calories. If you're just kind of a whatever kind of attitude, that usually doesn't cut it. But if it was still pretty controlled, that can be very helpful. So can't really make much assessment from the daily data. So here's the thing. We have 12 weeks of being in a cut for multiple reasons. One of them is the fact that at some point, weight may hit a plateau, or you may have something like a vacation where you just are maintaining weight for a period of time, and you still have 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks left, which is still a good amount of time to be making progress. So we don't want to add on more time to the cut because that's just more time that your body is in a state of changing metabolism and specifically slowing down metabolism. And there are dangers that happen with that. And one of the things that you will notice is another plateau, even though you're cutting calories and your weight doesn't move. That's because at some point your metabolism is just going to kind of be like a sticking point. So we don't want to add on more weeks. What we want to do is just pick back up, which you already are. You said you're getting back on track, and try to make as much progress as we possibly can from here on out. So could you go into another intentional cut from here? Absolutely. That would be a way that we could be trying to make intentional change to get things to pick back up and fall towards that maximum end of the drop per week range. Make sense?
Okay. Yep.
So that would be my suggestion.
Perfect.
It's really 2 things. It's either getting back to your last targets with perfect consistency, and I mean being really strict on yourself to get really good calorie consistency with your macronutrients to really allow your body, to make progress, assess,
yeah.
Or go right into an intentional cut, 10%, and then again, really aim for hitting that cut and letting progress pick back up. Make sense?
Okay. Yep. Perfect.
Whichever you choose is up to you. You got to feel good about it. You got to pick what you're going to be able to stick to for the next week, and go in with it with confidence, right? Because that's a part of this process too. Make
Yes.
sense?
Sounds good. Yep. Sounds good. Thank you.
How was your mission trip?
It was good. It was hard work, but good.
Good. Okay.
Long days.
Well, since I have you, do you have any other questions besides your pre-submitted one?
I don't think so. I'll just listen in and learn.
Okay. Yeah, and as I look at your data, there's nothing else that really jumps out at me. I mean, it's just, this is a part of the process. We have vacations, we have things, and yeah, that's cool. Now we just get back on track, and just continue to reach out. If you're making adjustments and things aren't moving, you're getting frustrated or you're getting worried or scared, reach out to us. Okay.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Thank you.
Yep, absolutely. All right, next question is, I believe, from Steve. Says, actually, I need to check. Yes, Steve. Okay. I've been falling short on calories almost every day, but trying to meet macros. I'm losing between the range, but just barely making the low end. Is this a new question? Maybe not. I would like to lose at a faster rate. Can I cut my calories by at least 5% and adjust the macros to line up with the calories I cut? So, Steve, I was literally just looking at your data this morning, and I have two things for you. I'm going to unmute you. Steve, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I got two things for you. Number one, actually, let me pull up your spreadsheet on my end real quick so I can have numbers. Numbers are important. But from this morning, I remember that your weight was falling within your range for this week. It was a little bit low during week 1, which is okay, right? We have 12 weeks to get things to speed up. But this week you were falling perfectly within your range. So anytime that we fall within your range, that's a green light. Okay, that's telling us that we are in a spot of making healthy, sustainable weight loss, so that those numbers will add up week after week after week. Now, depending on where you fall on there, and depending on how you are feeling with hunger and cravings and just overall motivation, we can take it a step further. So with your loss this week, you're at the bottom end, you're at the minimum. So you could absolutely make an intentional cut, like a 5%, to try to speed that up and get that drop per week to fall towards the maximum end. We don't want it to fall outside. We're not trying to pick up any lost ground during week 1 for being under, but just each week as its own, we always want it to fall within that range. So this week was a good week. This was great. We don't have to make any changes, but if you want to, a 5%, yes, would be fine, would be accurate to try to get us to get your weight loss to drop towards that maximum range. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And here's the other thing, Steve, and this is for everybody, okay? This is always a personal journey for us, right? It's always, our bodies are always going to respond differently at different points in time. Sometimes change happens really fast right away, and then it starts to slow down. Other times, change doesn't happen so fast, but then as we get to know your body better and understand it and make adjustments, things start to pick up, right? So this is a process. This is why we have, 3 months of being in the cut to have the data to assess, make adjustments with the knowledge that we know to, get things to move. So for everyone, remember that your body needs time. It needs time to make changes and adjustments. And that's why we always have a week of data that we assess on our data averages tab, and to just be patient. And I know that is not easy. I understand personally. It's not easy because we want it now, right? But that's my encouragement to all of you. So I hope that answers the first part of your question.
Yes.
Okay, and then you said, am I correct in thinking I should meet my calories first and then work on meeting my macros? Yes, you are, because calories are what physically move your weight, okay? But here's the thing. I really want you to be focusing on getting your calories through your macronutrients, because your macronutrients are what make up your calories, right? And there's two big things that are going to happen throughout this process. Number one is we have to be concerned about your experience, okay? This journey, this process of these 3 months of losing weight, it's not just a numbers game. It's not just hit this number of calories. It's also a very big part, a very big part of it is what you experience throughout the process. How is your hunger? How is your mood? How is your motivation? How is your enjoyment of the process, right? So when you focus on macronutrients in really 5 categories: lean meats, fruits, veggies, whole grains, and healthy fats, you're going to create as much of a comfortable weight loss experience as possible, versus if you're just focusing on calories with no attention, special attention to macronutrients. Like, you could be eating Pop-Tarts and pizza and Coke and hit your calories and your weight will move. Absolutely, it will. You actually will be having an article released to you in a couple of weeks on the Twinkie diet. It's a very fascinating study done by Professor Hobb, where he ate nothing but junk food and some protein shakes here and there and lost 30 pounds, and his health actually improved because weight was the factor in it. I won't spoil the rest of it for you, but the point is, yeah, you are correct in thinking that your calories first. We focus on the macronutrients, number one, because we want to make sure we're having a comfortable weight loss experience. And number two, your body composition at the end will be greatly affected by where you get those calories from. So the diet of lean meats, fruits, veggies, whole grains, and healthy fats is going to look very different than just the Pop-Tarts, pizza, and Coke, okay? This one, you're going to look pretty much the exact same shape as you do right now, just a smaller version, because you'll shrink collectively as a unit. Versus this one over here, you're going to be eliminating as much as possible the squishy tissue between your skin and your muscle fibers. And the less that tissue gets, the more those muscle fibers become exposed, and that's what creates that body composition, the nice tone and lean and almost, like jacked look. And that's the best, that's the version we all secretly are dreaming up in our head. And here's the other part behind it. This version is also the healthiest version, because the healthiest version of ourselves is when we've retained the most lean muscle mass and cut out any excess body fat, because some body fat is healthy, especially for women, but at the point of excess body fat, we can eliminate. So, does that make sense?
Yes.
And then last thing I can say on that, and then I'll move on, is this diet here, when you're focusing on a high protein diet, healthy carbohydrates, and lower fats, you're going to be supplying your body with nutritious, micronutrient dense foods that are going to support your health and just promote a healthy body in itself. To hit those targets with your fiber, specifically, if you're not supplementing your fiber, to hit those targets with your fiber pretty much has to happen through this type of diet. You can see your calories being hit and your fiber being like 5 grams or less on this type of diet. And that creates a very different experience. And it's not always that way, because whatever foods you're eating, there's always differences in it. But the fiber part is a pretty good indicator with the types of choices you are making too. So, good question. And I know I said that was the last thing, but this is another important thing. So this is going to be the last thing. But if you're eating out or at your party or like a get-together or something like that, I actually promote to take the stress off of you of being strict on the macronutrients, and give yourself a day of just focusing on calories, because that's still going to accomplish the goal. it won't be consistent with your macronutrients, but will still be accomplishing the bigger picture. And then after, you know, the next day or whatever, then you just get right back on track with hitting your macronutrient targets. So another little tip for that. Okay, and then Rhonda, your question is next, pre-submitted. I guess I thought I understood the data average tab, but not sure what we are supposed to be looking at other than the weight range. Okay, we can easily go over that. If you're not supposed to look at the calories on MyFitnessPal, how do you estimate the calories before entering the macros on the Excel sheet? So let's do the Excel sheet first. Rhonda, are you okay with me doing a screen share?
Sure.
Okay. So then everyone can get a little training here on what to look at in your Excel spreadsheet and how to use that. So I guess I need to do a screen share, don't I? Okay, can you see your spreadsheet?
Yep.
Okay, so just as a review for everyone, we always use the data averages tab at the end of the week when we are assessing, number one, are we accomplishing the goal? And then pretty much the same thing, but within that is what progress is being made, and then what changes need to be made, if any, okay? So when I look at this as a coach with anyone, most often, depending on the situation, but most often the very first thing my eyes go to are the weekly change in weight, and I compare that to the range. So for you, we have a loss of 1.46 pounds. Okay, what does that mean? How do I know if that's healthy and sustainable for you or not, or if it's too much or too low? So I'm going to compare that to your range that we've calculated, and we see that your range is 0.7 to 1.4. So if you were to round it, you'd be 1.5. But basically, you're right at your maximum. I'm just going to say you're right on the line of your maximum. So again, anytime we fall within that range, we're in the green zone. And you just keep doing what you're doing because your body is responding to the slight changes that you're making, and it's working. So that's always the first place my eyes go. But then after that, whether the answer is, you know, good, great, or what's going on here, right? Then I go in deeper and look at the other data. So the second place I'm going to go is the calories and say, okay, so we saw that weight is on track. How is this being accomplished? Well, we see that 1,800 calories are being eaten, 1,875, and the target is 2,230. So this tells me that—
And I didn't do it on purpose.
That's okay. That's okay. This is what I like about this, though. This is what I like about this, is you have consistent calories from week to week. And remember, consistency pretty much trumps everything. So you have 2 weeks in a row of consistent calories at 1,800, 1,834, 1,875, and 2 weeks in a row of your weight falling in here. So even though your calorie target is set here, this is what you actually did. So this is what I'm going to focus on. That number is almost meaningless now because you didn't hit it. This is what you actually did that resulted in this, right? So if this had 3,000 calories, that would be what you actually did to result in that. Are you following me?
Yep.
So this is where I'm putting my focus on. Yes, this here, this was the target, but oops, I didn't hit it, and hey, look what happened. And I'm willing to bet that this happened, this 1,800 happened, because you're feeling fine, you're feeling comfortable, and you don't need to be hitting that number. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
All right, I'm trying really hard to focus on getting all my macros, but they never equal my calories.
Okay, so, and we're gonna make an adjustment right away. And if anyone notices this in their spreadsheet too, this is exactly what I would recommend. your target that we've set for you based off of following the system, this isn't it. This is too high. This is what you're doing, and this is working. This is your true deficit that you need to be in. So, and we talked about this a little bit after week 0. We talked about how you ate out a little bit more, and we were pretty sure that calories were a little on the high side. So we made the cut right away. But now we see, yeah, we were absolutely right, because even with the cut, it's still too high, right?
Yep.
So this is what I want you to do, okay? Oops. My screen went away. Okay. This is, and guys, this is how we read your body. This is how we get to understand your body, is through this data. We have 2 weeks in a row of accurate tracking. That's another part of this. Accurate tracking, and boom, weight is falling perfectly within the range. This tells me with near certainty, complete certainty, that your healthy, sustainable calorie deficit is in the 1,850 mark. I'm just taking the average of these two, and that's going to be where you need to be right now. So moving into week 2, Rhonda, we definitely don't want our calories to be set at 2,200. We want them to be set at the average of this. I mean, you could basically.
Now we're moving into week 3.
Right.
Okay.
Sorry. So yeah, here.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. So moving into week 3, you're going to readjust your targets in MyFitnessPal, and you could calculate the actual average. I was just doing 1,850 as an easy middle number.
Yep.
And then adjust your macronutrients just like you have before, based off of 1,850 for your calorie mark. Does that make sense?
Is the protein going to stay kind of the same, because isn't that based on your target weight at the end?
I would keep it the same as what you are doing, because what you are currently doing is working and you are managing it. Does that make sense?
Yep. Yep.
So right here, and I like this. I like that even from week 1 to week 2 it went up. So I would try to keep it as close to 124 as possible, you know, give or take. Maybe it's up a little bit, maybe it's down a little bit. That's okay.
Because right now it's at 140, my protein, you know, if you notice over on the other side. That's
what we had it set when your calories were 2,200. But we know now with complete certainty 2,200 is not your deficit. 1,850 is your deficit. So basically, you're going to reset your calories in MyFitnessPal and get your macronutrients to look pretty dang close to this right here. You know?
Okay.
Make sense?
Yep.
Because this is what you are currently doing. This is your true data, and it's working. So whenever it's working, we don't want to stop that. We want to keep doing what's working. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to close you off with this. You're going to go into MyFitnessPal, set your calories to 1,850, and then adjust your macronutrients, get them to look as close as what you did last week, and then put those numbers right here.
Okay.
And then what is your fiber going to be? Do you remember?
20. Well, it depended on what your, wasn't it 20? Well, I thought it was set at 25, or was it 20 or something?
Yep. 25. And
yeah, 25, I thought.
Do you remember why?
It had something to do with your weight, wasn't it?
Nope, but that's okay.
Oh, okay.
So it's just a very, very simple standard. If you're 1,501 calories or more, set it as a minimum of 25 grams of fiber. And if you're 1,500 calories or lower, set it at 20 grams as a minimum. And remember, guys, this is important for everyone to remember. Your fiber is just a minimum. So no matter what it's set at, you can go over it as much as you want. The fiber, right, it doesn't attribute to your calories. It doesn't directly attribute to physically moving your weight. That's where calories come from. But fiber is going to tell us where you're getting your foods from, because there are only so many types of foods that have fiber in them. And here's the thing. If you're hitting your fiber target, you're probably doing a pretty good job of getting in some good fruits, veggies, whole grains. whether they are single ingredient whole grains or whole grains in a mix of ingredient items. Like, for example, rice would be a single ingredient whole grain versus a whole grain bread would be a multiple ingredient whole grain option. Okay, so fiber, when you're hitting that number, we know that you are probably doing a good job of getting in nutritious, healthy options that are also going to create a comfortable experience, because fiber has a lot to do with hunger and what you feel, how satiated you feel throughout the day. So no matter what your fiber target is, it's always a minimum, and you can go over it as much as you want. Okay?
Yep.
All right. Sweet. So I'm just going to recheck pre-submitted questions, do a little refresh really quick. Just in case. Okay, stop share. Now I'm back. It's always funny. So like when I do the screen shares and I'm like, whenever I'm looking at your guys' data, I don't see the Zoom call. It's just like me talking into my screen, and I know that you guys are somewhere in the background. So it's always funny when I come out of the screen share and then I see everyone. Anyways, just a fun fact for you. Okay. So I'm going to just start going around the circle. I'm going to start out with Barb because I saw her on first when I jumped on, and then I'll just bounce around to everyone real quick. So hi, Barb.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Give us an update.
Well, I went ahead and upped mine for the maintenance.
Mhm.
I did it a couple days early because I'm leaving Saturday to the Dominican, and I knew next week I would not be able to really track it like I normally do.
Sure.
Get a feel for it this week and see. And even that, I upped it 160 calories, and that's a lot. I mean, it feels like a lot. I still have to eat something yet.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that I understand you correctly. You decided to already jump into maintenance. You've already made an increase, and you've already been eating a higher volume of calories. Okay.
The last 2 days. Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna pull up your data just on my end. So, and you said 160 calories. Now, did you get that through calculation, or where's the 160 coming from?
My last week, this past week, average was 1609 for calories. So then I just based it off of that.
Yep, perfect. Right on. That's exactly what you do. Okay, good. So an extra 160 calories. Sure, that can feel like. So what are your calories at right now?
I'm now sitting at 1769.
No, I mean like for today.
For today, I still have I allowed for a glass of wine. I haven't drank that yet, and I'm really full, and I think I still have like 300 and some to go. I don't know. It was one of those days that felt like I ate so much.
Sure. So this is typical when you make this transition into maintenance. And you're not the only one in the group who's transitioning into maintenance. There's a bunch of you that are right at maintenance right now. So this is common and almost to be expected, because think about it. You've been hitting, we'll just make it easy, 1,600 calories for a few weeks, and now you're intentionally eating more, right? That's going to feel different, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask, what day did you start this, your increase?
Yesterday. So it's just yesterday and today.
Okay, that makes it easier. So do you understand why we do this? Do you understand why we are increasing calories as we move into maintenance, transitioning out of the cut?
Well, yeah, it's to help your metabolism
Mm-hmm.
in.
Yep. And for everyone else who is making this transition, you guys should know the answer to this too. Okay. So yes, so that's one part of it. Anything else you can remember?
Well, I know it had something to do with getting your body to recognize the new amount of calories. I don't know what you called it, but.
Yep, the body set point.
Yes.
Yep, and that's going to come with time. That's going to happen through the process of maintenance of your weight dropping, your calories climbing. Weight might settle out, and the next week it might drop, and then you increase your calories. So body set point is going to happen with time. But yeah, you're right. So here's one thing that I always want to make sure that everyone understands. When you go through a weight loss phase, when you go through a 12-week period of intentionally losing weight, your metabolism is naturally going to slow down. So you get to the end of that 12-week period, you might start to experience some weird things happening. You might be hungrier than you've ever been before. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but it can. Your cravings might be through the roof. Your period might be going out of whack. Your sleep might be getting thrown off. Your energy or desire to just move more or work out might be getting thrown off. These are all signs that it is time for you to transition into maintenance, or it could be signs, okay? Your body is going to recognize change at some point. And when your metabolism changes, other things just happen with your body, okay? And here's the big thing though. The slower your metabolism is, the harder it is to lose weight. So if you get to the end of the 12-week period, your metabolism has really slowed down, you could be making crazy cuts to your calories and your weight would still be hardly moving. And that's really tedious and really frustrating and just really painful process, not enjoyable. So to counteract these things and to reset metabolism and mood, energy, motivation, sleep, and all of that stuff that you may start to feel, you have to intentionally remove yourself from a calorie deficit and work towards weight maintenance. And this is where we're getting your body to recognize and create a new normal for your weight. Because back in the beginning, at week 0, you were your body was at a point that it recognized and it was normal. So anytime you overate or underate, it would send you the appropriate signals to pull you back, either hunger or cravings or whatever it is to pull you back to just where it was comfortable. And now you went through an intentional period of losing weight and being intentional making change. You want to create a new normal here so that anytime you overeat or undereat, your body is going to pull you back to here because this is your new normal versus pull you back up to where you began from. And this is a process, and it happens with changing your metabolism, specifically getting your metabolism to speed back up as fast as possible. There's one other big piece to this. If you have any desire to go into an additional cut in the future, you definitely want your calories to get back up as high as possible because it's much easier to start a cut from 2,000 calories than it is from 1,500 calories. You just have 500 calories more to work with. So throughout the process of maintenance, and actually, I have this up. I can show you all because there's lots of you guys are transitioning into this maintenance period right now. I have this up. Okay, so this is an example. It's actually Deborah Kuzma's example from St. Cloud. So at the end of her cut, okay, she was 142. She started out at 163, so that's 21 pounds she lost during her cut. Now, this is maintenance, transitioning into, I'm not on screen share. No one told me I wasn't on screen share. You guys need to yell at me if it looks like I'm doing something that seems weird. Okay, Barb, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna start over. Okay, at the end of the cut, she lost 21 pounds. Her weight dropped down to 142. You can see here, oh no. See at the beginning, 163, dropped down to 142, okay? And her calories got down to 1,300. So now moving into maintenance, we increased calories to 1,500 and we monitor what happens with the weight. We saw that her weight started to drop. This is a good thing because when we increase calories, we're setting a trigger to your body to start speeding up its metabolism. And if your metabolism is getting faster, your weight is going to drop. And anytime that happens, we need to increase calories. So that's exactly what we did. And we just repeat that process, monitoring the weights week after week. And at the end of it, she had to be eating about 1,900 calories each day just to maintain that 21 pounds down. Look, 142, 142. She's 143, 142. That's almost 600 calories more per day just to maintain 21 pounds down because her body created a new normal there. So this is what you guys are going to be fighting for. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to get up to 1,600 calories. It's personal for everyone, and it looks different for everyone. Maybe you'll only be 300 calories up. Maybe you'll only make it to where you started with your calories at week 0. It's personal for everyone, but that's what's possible for you guys when you give your body the time to change an internal level and that metabolism to flip back around. And it's a beautiful thing when you can eat 600 more calories per day and maintain your weight. Like, that's just fun and comfortable. And I don't really need to explain that. I mean, who wouldn't want to have 1,600 more calories or 600 calories more a day? So I don't even know how I got on all of that. You talked about how you started maintenance early.
Yes.
Sorry. If you guys can't tell, I can literally talk about these things all day long. So are you noticing anything else besides having a hard time hitting your calories, Barb?
No, I'm just full.
Okay.
Was
Well,
today.
it's not a bad thing. And here's the other thing. As your metabolism starts to speed up, that fullness won't last. It may not last. I shouldn't say it won't, because it's personal, but it may not last. You may start to experience that settling out, but we'll see. So just keep hitting your targets, keep doing what you're doing, give your body the calories, the increased calories. The biggest thing is we don't want to be losing weight in maintenance, because if we're losing weight in maintenance, we're not in maintenance. We're still in a deficit. Now, at the end of the week, if the weight goes down, right, that's our signal to increase calories. But if you're continuously going down and down, you're still in a deficit. And that means that your body is not in the process of speeding up metabolism and reversing all those effects that you may be feeling with your hunger or your mood or your energy and all that stuff, because you're still in a cut, essentially. So give your body what it needs. You will thank yourself for it in the end.
Okay. Well, next week will be kind of hard because I won't at all after Saturday. From Saturday to Saturday, I won't have access to anything to.
Sure. So this is where you get to just apply your knowledge and what you've been equipped with and what you've learned, right? So think about your typical serving sizes of the foods that you normally eat at home and what that looks like on your plate, right? And then you take that with you. Or, like if you're eating chicken, like how much chicken did you normally eat? And this is actually a good thing because when you're not in control, you want to have more freedom to be off and have an error in your calories. And maintenance is a great place for that, because we want your calories to be up, but we want them to be controlled and up, and not just free for all up. Because free for all up, that's just gonna go. That's not gonna help us. So. Yeah, this is good. You're in a good position to apply what you've learned, and see what happens. And this is part of life, right? Like we have these things in our life. So cool. Okay. Any other questions or anything?
Nope.
Okay. I'm gonna jump over to Molly. Hi, Molly. Uh-oh. Molly, can you hear me? If you can hear me, I can't hear you. You could type in the chat or you could text me. Otherwise, I'll text you at the end. I'll come back to you. If you can hear me, reach out. Uh-oh. Unmuted. There we go. Molly, can you hear me now? Still can't hear you. Okay, I'm going to go over to Kayla. You're next on my list. Oh, I see a chat. I can hear you. Okay, I have Kayla. I'm gonna go to Kayla, and then I may just call you on the phone. Okay, Molly, I'll come back to you next. So, Kayla, can you hear me?
Yep,
How's it going?
it's good.
Okay. So now, you guys don't know this, but Kayla and I have been texting quite a bit lately throughout the week, which is a good thing because maintenance is upon us and other things are going on. So, give me an update, although I feel like we literally just had an update like this morning. But anyways.
We did.
Yeah.
Nothing's new.
Yeah. Okay, nothing's new. So,
Nope.
okay. Do you have any concerns about anything?
No, I guess I just want to see what happens, and that way I know. So is it just my body being weird from still coming back to normal after my last baby and, you know, my cycle's trying to level itself out, or is it all the signs of going into maintenance is what I need to do?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
my body has been, like looking at my spreadsheet, it all lines up to how my cycle is, which is really weird because I basically have had it every 2 weeks since it came back, which is shortly after we started the program.
Yeah.
So my numbers all line up with that, where they jump up and then I jump down, and then I jump up a little bit and then I jump down.
Mm-hmm. Well, hey, that's one of the beautiful things of having data and being able to analyze it and look at patterns and see patterns. But I will say it makes two of us. Like, I'm also interested to know, see what else happens, because I mean, it could be like there's like there's multiple factors in what's going on with you right now.
Yep.
So, is it maintenance? Maybe. Is it something else? Maybe. We're only really going to know with a little more time, and even after that,
I might not know.
we still may not know.
But I'll
However,
feel better about it at least. So.
However, there is one thing I can say with certainty. Regardless, you've made a lot of progress, and we are at the 12-week mark, which I would give the same recommendation to everyone. Your body has gone through change, and there's stuff going on, and your body needs a maintenance period at some point. So, you know, regardless of all the things that are going on, I still feel confident about, you know, that we're at a point of transitioning versus like, you know, giving it 5 more weeks or something like that.
Oh, no. Yep.
Yeah. And I mean, I was kind of talking about this earlier, but the things that we feel at the end of a maintenance, like a lot of times we don't want to give credit to our body for what we're feeling. Now, I'm not saying that is what's going on with you, because we're seeing patterns in your cycle, but like fidgeting less can happen at the end of a cut. Like when people who are natural fidgeters, like they're just at their desk and their leg is just like literally going like this the whole time. When they start losing weight, they naturally stop fidgeting because their body rediverts that energy and is now trying to conserve, because they realize that change is happening, and the more it moves, right, the more you move, the more calories you burn off. And when it's recognizing that weight is being lost, it tries to resist. Your body doesn't like change. So it tries to hold on. And there's studies on this, which I just think is so fascinating, of how people who are natural twitchers, when they go through losing weight, they will naturally stop twitching because of that. So, I mean, that's one thing. Another thing is I was talking about people not giving credit to their body, is just the desire or thoughts about wanting to work out. So like people who naturally gravitate towards exercise very easily, and it's just like a natural part of their life, it's very comfortable. At the end of the cutting phase, they just all of a sudden have more of a desire to sit around and watch Netflix instead of go to the gym, when normally they'd much rather go to the gym because that's just their personality. But at the end of a cut, your body just changes and it goes through these different things, and it can send you these different signals like lack of desire to move, or it actually, makes you stop twitching more, or you just can't stop thinking about chocolate chip cookies like all the freaking time. When normally that wasn't naturally part of you. Hunger can definitely be a thing, cravings, and whatever. So just don't forget, you guys, don't forget how powerful and influential your bodies are and can be. And when it recognizes change, it will send you its defense mechanisms to try to pull you back. But that's where we come in and being intentional about not letting that happen. So just some fun facts for you guys, especially all of you at the end of maintenance, your cut and transitioning into maintenance. So, okay. So nothing new, it's updated. Any questions?
I don't think so. I think I'm going to ride out what I'm at right now and then for sure transition next week. Or if I start to notice that, the bloat comes off or whatever, and I start dropping faster than what I wanted to, then maybe I was going to reach out and see if I should start maintenance midweek instead.
Sure.
But I just kind of want to see if I'm getting to the end of all that now. It's just been a very weird one. So as it all ends out here, then usually I start to see a different drop, because it literally I gained 2 pounds in a day. Sunday I was down to below what I was hoping to hit, and Monday I'm up 2.5 pounds or 2 pounds or something. So
glad you said that out loud, because other people in here will experience that if they have not already experienced that. You could be doing everything right, making no changes whatsoever, and then the next day you step on the scale and your weight is way up. It's really frustrating. And it's like, what the heck, right? So Kayla's experienced it. You guys might experience that at some point. Don't freak out and think about it. If you're doing everything right, or that you should be doing, you haven't made any changes, do you think that 2 pound fluctuation in one day is pure fat tissue? No. Highly likely not. It's probably something else going on, like a bloat, or your body is ready for some other type of change because it's resisting something, right? That's a clear sign that your body is responding to something. So we just need to figure out what the something is, and we absolutely can by just making some changes. So that was good encouragement for everyone else, because that is a frustrating thing, but there are lots of things that we can do to dive into it. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. My targets haven't really changed in the last, 4 weeks, I don't think. Should I change my protein to up it a little bit for this last little bit, or do I literally just ride it out right where it's at?
You could. Yeah, you could.
Okay.
That'd be fine. And I will say this, I'm already leaning towards you just sticking out the whole week rather than a midweek thing. So coach-wise, I'm just mentally already putting us there for you.
Perfect.
So, but definitely keep reaching out when everything comes up.
Sounds good.
I'm going to move us along. Molly, I'm going to try to unmute you again on here. Can you hear me, Molly? I still can't hear you, so I'm just going to call you really quick. And I'm actually really excited to talk to you because I want you to tell us your update. I'm calling you, Molly. Hi, can you hear me? You may need to turn me off on your video call, the sound, so there's no feedback. Okay, I think that's better. Yep. Okay, so Molly, how's it going? Give us an update.
Everything is better.
What's better?
Better is I'm able to eat and have on antibiotics. Everything's fine. I can eat normal again, and I think I probably lost too many pounds, but, you know, I've been trying to make up everything that I've lost and eat like crazy.
Sure, sure. So, I think we were texting about this, so other people don't know, but you were kind of on a soft liquid diet.
Right, I can eat anything as long as it won't upset. Diverticulitis, little things get stuck inside your intestines and they get infection. And so you have to rest your intestines for usually 2 weeks, and it's always just soft food. So it's like poached eggs and puddings and soups and things like that. But,
So
yeah.
I'm glad that you're willing to.
Get a lot of protein.
Yes, yeah. I'm glad you're willing to say that, because everyone here has their own unique and individual challenges in their own way. So this is yours. This is something that you've had to figure out how to manage while going through this process. And we've talked through it. We texted about it throughout the week, right? But I'm just glad that you shared that, because everyone else on here, we all have our own individual challenges, and you all know what they are. So just remember that, right? Challenges will come. When they do, reach out to your coach, and we'll find a way through it. We'll work our way through it. So to bring this back to you specifically, Molly. Yep, we've definitely seen some drops in the weight. A little bit higher than what we wanted to, but also to be expected considering what you were going through. So this is my suggestion as you're getting back on track with this and able to take in some different types of foods again. Our goal would be to either be falling towards the minimum or almost even just plateauing for a week, because you're moving pretty fast, right? And we want to make sure that this is sustainable for the long run, and that it's continued, week after week after week. And I'm always concerned about you just waking up one day and feeling like you can eat everything in the fridge, and then you do, right? Because at some point when you make really fast change, your body is going to react. It's going to react fast too. Now, if you're having other issues going on, that can also cause other complications with that too. But we just, keep doing our best with it. And as we move forward, if your weight actually plateaued, I would not be upset about that. That would almost be a good thing.
It stayed the same the entire time, which I thought was, for the last 3 or 4 days, it has not moved down any.
I see that.
So that's.
So in your daily, so your daily, yep, I see that. But when I'm looking at data averages, like all of your data averages are above your max. So even with that being down, we still just want to be careful of that. So I think things are going to just pick right back up and fall right back in place. But I just want to talk about it, because those are things that we just need to be aware of. And we always, want to make sure that things are sustainable. And there's other things going on too that we're monitoring with this. So I just want to make sure that we're in conversation about it. That makes sense.
Okay.
So is there anything else or any specific questions? I mean, you've got a pretty direct, you've got your limitations and you're now, coming out of that. But is there anything else you want to talk about?
Well, I'm about to be released from my foot, so I can start doing some exercises on my elliptical and all that.
Yay.
So I don't have to add or change or anything, because now I can start actually doing something, right?
Right. And actually, okay, so with your weight loss happening pretty rapidly, and your calories being down, and now adding on exercise, that's gonna create even more of a deficit. So we may actually need to increase your calorie target, because you're adding in activity. Now we don't have to do it yet, but depending on how things are going for you, that might just be a hard thing to do. But I understand the desire and the want to get on with recovering from a foot surgery. I understand. Yeah, I can definitely understand that. But I'm just letting you know, at some point, we actually may need to increase calories based on how things are moving with your weight. So just a future note, okay?
Okay. And
that's not a bad thing. I mean, we want to be eating as much as we can and still be losing weight, right? Unless there's, you know, so that's a good thing. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Any other specific questions about anything?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that things are kind of climbing up on the uphill side and going a little bit better, because I've never had that, but I can't imagine it's fun.
You don't want it.
No, I got enough issues of my own, so like I said, we all have our things.
I know, considering my age, really, I shouldn't complain. There could be so many other things wrong with being. That only happen maybe once every 3 or 4 years, so I'm going to blame it on Minnesota well water.
Okay. It's nice when we can blame it on something else, right?
That's right.
Oh, that's funny. Cool. Okay. Well,
No,
hey,
I'm good.
it was great having you. I'm glad that you were able to be on tonight. I'm glad things are going well.
Yeah, my computer kicked me off on Microsoft. It all of a sudden wanted a password, and it wouldn't take the one I've been using for years. So it took me a time to try to get online, and I finally just went to my husband's computer and hopped on in. So
perseverance. I like it. That relates to this process. Sometimes you just have to persevere through things and challenges.
exactly.
Okay, so great talking to you. I'm glad this worked. I'm going to jump over to Jill. If you have anything else, just feel free to type it in the chat or text me, okay?
Okay, thanks.
Yep, thanks. Bye.
Bye.
I don't know if you guys can hear, but my puppy dog is trying to break in. I locked him out, although he can still get through. Anyways, Jill, how are you? Are you still there?
Good.
I know we're coming up to the end of the hour. But man, good stuff today, you guys. Such good stuff. So Jill, how is it going? Give us an update.
Well, so far so good.
Okay. What does that mean?
I don't know. I appreciate hearing all of these other people's perspectives, and
Right.
I'm on week 0, so
Right.
I have a lot to learn.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
But I'm literally on my way home. I worked out at 5:30 and then got out of there at 6:30, and it's an hour ride home. So it would have dropped the call. So I've been pulled over on the side of the road for the past 20 minutes, but that's okay. So.
Oh. Hey, like I said, we all have our challenges, right? That's
Yep.
Okay, so you are transitioning into week 1, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do you feel comfortable about understanding how to adjust your calories and your macronutrients to do that?
Is there something on it that I haven't done on the core stuff, maybe?
Possibly. There's a video.
Okay.
There's a video called Understanding the First Adjustment.
Okay, yeah, I've not seen that yet, so I would assume after I do that, I will feel more comfortable.
Yeah. So that one, I would just jump right to that. It's like a 27-minute video, and the first half of it just walks you through exactly how to do that.
Okay.
To give you the short run, actually, I'm going to do this. I'm going to pick on someone, okay, because this is going to be a great opportunity for someone to kind of do a proven understanding, because everyone else has been through this process and should be able to remember how to make the first transition from week 0 into week 1. So rather than me, the one who's always talking, walk you through a quick review of it, I'm going to see if I can pick on someone. Now everyone's probably freaking out and trying to get out of here real quick. But I'm not going to pick on you. I'm going to let someone like unmute themselves, either Kayla, Barb, Molly, or Melanie. Would one of you guys be brave enough to do a quick review on how to transition the calories from week 0, and then just as much as you remember about the macronutrients, maybe at least the protein? Would anyone be willing to unmute themselves? I see Kayla. Kayla?
You leave your calories the same, and you increase your protein to be almost a pound. For every pound of target body weight, you want 1 gram of protein. So if you want to weigh 130 pounds, you want to get closer to 130 grams of protein and you try to keep your carbs and your fats as close to your week 0 targets as possible.
Wow.
Okay.
I feel like a
Awesome.
proud little mom. Kids. That was perfect. Okay, so I'm just going to review what Kayla said. Not that I said it first. Kayla said it. You're going to keep your calories the same from week 0, but you're going to shift your macronutrients, starting with your protein, aiming towards 1 gram of protein per pound of target body weight, or at least in that direction. And then carbs and fats, you're going to keep them to look as similar to your week 0 data as possible, but knowing that there's going to be some adjustment because we're increasing protein and calories are staying the same.
Okay.
And here's the big picture I want to highlight with this. Actually, I'm going to pick on someone else. Someone else, Barb, Molly, or Melanie, tell me, unmute and tell me, why do we keep calories the same from week 0 into week 1? What does that accomplish? Because we know that if we're trying to lose weight, we have to be in a calorie deficit. So how is that possible? Or what are we doing? What are we doing when we keep them the same versus making an intentional cut? I'll give you a hint. It's the slogan. Oh, Barb, unmute yourself.
Well, what I would say, how I take it is you want to keep eating the foods that you're familiar with and comfortable with.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's where the macronutrients part comes in. So you're going to increase your protein. Your carbs and fats are going to look as familiar to week 0. So that's not a big change in your diet. You should still be eating foods that you're familiar with and that you're comfortable with, right?
Okay.
So, Barb, what does keeping calories the same accomplish? And the hint is that it's the slogan of calories and confidence.
Keep them as high as possible for as long as possible.
Boom. Okay. So we keep calories, we set your calorie target the same as your average to keep them as high as possible, because keeping them the same without going over is as high as we can keep them without going over. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So we want to make sure when we start this process, there's 2 things we have to accomplish for weight loss to happen. Number 1, we have to create a deficit. That's the law for everyone, no matter who you are. You have to create a calorie deficit for your weight to go down. And number 2, Samantha Barr's very specific standard is to keep your calories as high as possible for as long as possible. This is going to create a comfortable weight loss experience. So how we do that is by shifting where you get your calories from through your macronutrients, because your body does not treat each macronutrient the same. Specifically, increasing protein is going to change your calorie expenditure, the calorie output, because protein requires the most amount of energy to digest. So by eating a larger volume of protein, even though your calories are staying the same, you're changing the calorie output, okay? So it allows you to eat the same amount of calories that you've always been eating, that you're familiar with and that you're comfortable with. You're not making crazy changes to your diet that are unrealistic and unsustainable. It's just slight changes. Give your body a whole week to adjust, and then based off of how your weight falls at the end of the week, we will know exactly if you are hitting the target or if we need to make some other type of adjustments. Make sense?
Yeah.
For the most part right now. Okay, so that was a lot of information really fast. But Jill, I want you to just repeat back to me real quick as much as you can recall from what Kayla said and Barb said and what I just meshed all together.
Okay, going into week 1, I'm going to be keeping my calories as high as possible, or for as long as possible, not making any major adjustments, but I will be adjusting the macronutrients and getting a target of my protein to be about, if I want to weigh 135, then that'd be 135 grams of protein. What else? I don't know, what else?
What do we want to do with your carbs and fats?
Oh, keep those the same as week 0.
As close as you can. They will need to change
Okay.
some because we've changed protein and your calories are staying the same. So there will be a little bit of adjustment. We want them to look as close to week 0 as possible.
Okay.
Sweet. Nice job, Jill. That was awesome. And Kayla, great job. Barb, great job. You guys are awesome. I seriously feel like a very proud mom right now. Like you guys are my kids. That sounds really weird. I'm 30. I don't know if any of you guys are. Anyways, that was really exciting for me because it proves to me that you guys know this stuff. And that's the point of this program. We want to equip you with knowledge that you can take with you and use for as long as you are working on this journey, in your health journey, right? It's not just about calories. It's about foods itself, food categories. It's about environmental influences. It's about understanding your body, having more confidence, understanding how to be confident. It's all encompassing, and that's what we want you guys to get out of this and take with you. So by me not doing the coaching and having you guys coach, Jill, that was a very beautiful moment for me. So thank you, everyone. That was awesome. Okay, I'm gonna do real quick check-in, one zip right through everyone just to make sure there aren't any lingering questions, and then I'll wrap us up. We are 8 minutes past the hour. So Jill, any last questions before we head off?
Nope. This is great.
Okay. When you make your adjustments in MyFitnessPal and in your spreadsheet, your cut, can you see my screen?
Right
Jill?
now, I just see you.
Okay, so I'm going to show you super quick, like less than 30 seconds quick. If I hit the screen share button first. I'm so bad. Okay, so you're going to go to your data averages tab, and you're going to put your adjustments here. Cut target adjustments.
Okay.
Right? So once you make your adjustment for your calories in MyFitnessPal, you're going to put your targets for protein, carbs, fat here. Fiber will be 25 because you're over 1501. And then your calories will automatically populate for you. Okay?
All right.
And then send that to us, either one or myself, and we'll give you a big thumbs up, okay?